Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with
Dave.
And today we have a viewer suggestion about artifacts, when and how to use them in your games.
Head down to the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter, where you can learn how to game with Nerdarchy as well as get weekly tips on gaming from us.
So artifacts, these are the items that exist in a campaign world that are world changing. They're so full of power that these aren't I found this in a cave. This is a campaign arc type situation.
Yeah, orbs of dragon control, axe of the dwarven lords, hand and eye of Vecna, the One Ring. Maybe some of you guys have heard of that.
So, in our games, we haven't typically used much in the way of artifacts. I know in your one campaign that you ran where magic was ever prevalent and hordes of magic items found its way into the party, I don't know whether there was anything that I would constitute as an artifact.
No, there was powerful magic items, but nothing that I would consider an artifact either.
Now, go ahead.
So, an artifact, like you summed it up, the artifact will change the world. It has the power to change the world. And that's why when you put an artifact in the game, it shouldn't. This isn't treasure. This is not treasure for your players. This is not an upgrade to their +1 longsword. No. When you put an artifact in the game, this is a story arc, the culmination of a story arc, and they should need that artifact to either solve a problem, or they need to wrest that artifact away from the villain to see that their plans don't come to fruition.
So we look at when and how to use them. You talked about the how. It's going to change the world based on either the players using it or the players preventing a villain from using it. So let's look at the when. Either you can have something where the players start off with an item that they aren't aware it's something of significance, or they're aware of its significance to a minor extent. It's not like, oh, this is the thing. It could be something that's important and it becomes more important later. Or you push it to the end of the game and it's something that they have been seeking and whatnot for a long time. Or, all right, I've taken it from the villain so that I can destroy it, hide it away, take it to another plane, whatever have you. Just get it the frick out of here.
So, like, in your game, like, there's this dagger that was introduced early on and is just bad mojo. And it turns out later on that it's actually a component to build a bigger magic item.
Yes.
And we don't know that this could be an artifact for all we know of great and powerful evil. We know it's of great and powerful evil. We don't know to what scale. And you started off with one of the player characters possessing as their trinket the other component to the magic item.
Well, Ken, he played a druid and he wanted a hermit, and the option he chose was that he had discovered some kind of dark secret, and he's supposed to be keeping it away from from evil hands. And I don't have everything right in front of me, but I said, okay, he's got this rod that it's sticky and bloody to the touch, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with it at that point in time. And as things progressed on, and once he started actually sharing it, I'm like, okay, I'm getting some idea here. And I have a friend who, we bounce ideas back and forth from time to time. And he's like, oh, well, you introduced this dagger and we've got this rod. What if we somehow fuse them together with, some further darkness and turn it into something bigger and better? Truth be told, campaign spoiler, I don't know what the spear is. I don't have it statted out. I don't have it figured out. And right now, you guys don't have it, so it's all right.
So apparently it may come up in the near future. So
depending upon what transpires, next session.
So basically, I believe you started answering when to add, when do you add artifacts to the game? Mm-hmm. And first of all, you don't really ever add artifacts to the game. You may maybe a artifact, or maybe like they're trying to destroy one and they need the other to do it. It is kind of like the thing. Like, again, like, this is not magic items. This is not loot that you just hand out. Like, this is part of a story. This is a bigger story being told. So there is no right or wrong time to introduce the artifact into the game. It's just when that story culminates and comes about. Like, this could be the whole campaign arc, this artifact. Or it could just be a piece of the larger whole. It doesn't have to be one or the other. So, but there are some things there are some things that you want to take into consideration. Most artifacts, if you look at them and you look at the lore and the history, like, they come into existence and they come into the world and they leave. And they come back and they leave and they come back. It's kind of like the standard trope, even if it hangs around for 100 years, eventually it's going to get lost for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So you should, as a GM, you should take this into consideration and make sure those artifacts get lost after they do what they need to do.
So it could go into some Ancient Immortals collection, and he likes to be able to just have these things. And it could be he wants to keep them away from mortal hands. It could be, he's really just one of these collector types and he wants to just glamour at it. It could be, whatever. It could be, lost in a volcano. It could drop down a major crevice, or, dropped over the edge of a boat and sink to the bottom of the sea. There's many ways for these items to disappear from mortal hands. And that's not even, taking into an account the will of the gods or the supreme beings that could exist on your world.
I mean, look at Lord of the Rings. Look at the One Ring. I mean, there might be some spoilers here, guys. A hobbit finds this uber powerful ring, hides it away in a cave forever. It extends his life. He stands until finally another hobbit comes along and finds the ring and steals it from the original hobbit and brings it back into the world, and even still sits on his mantle for years.
Right.
So then things begin to move, because that's what artifacts do. They create massive events that happen around them. In this case, the awakening of Sauron and him seeking the ring. And eventually Gandalf discovering the ring's there, and we have to get rid of this. We have to throw it in a volcano.
And really, it took years of it essentially being back in the world before people acknowledged it, before they came to terms with it. Because the hobbits aren't going to know what it is. It's just a ring. Oh, it's shiny. I'll set it on my mantelpiece every once in a while. I'll touch it. Yada yada yada. But Gandalf coming across it, it's like, oh, what the heck? What is this? And as these powers begin to move, the campaign starts.
Exactly, and it's very subtle too. Like, it starts off very subtle. Like, the ring, the ring is lost. The ring is discovered. In the meantime, in the backdrop, the enemy begins to resurface and gather its strength, and it does that for a long time before it actually even begins to make the move. And
it's not like Sauron ever got to a tangible body. He was an eye.
Yes.
So it's kind of cool.
The will. He was just the will of Sauron. So, that is like the most classic, well-known artifact story out there.
Indeed.
And it's perfect. It was literally perfect. It has, it all fits together nicely. That would, from a D&D standpoint, that's an amazing.
And in the end, it's gone.
And in the end, it's gone. Exactly. Yep. So it hits all the points. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. It gives great power. It causes a great threat. All this stuff is going on, and so that's what I would look at when I'm looking to do an artifact.
Absolutely.
In my world, I want it to be that is the centerpiece of whatever's going on at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I have any more to add to that.
I think that really about sums it up. What do you guys think about artifacts? How do you use them in your game? Have you ever been in a game where there's multiple artifacts on one side or another? Put your thoughts and comments down below. While you're at it, like, share, even subscribe.
You can tweet it to us at Twitter.
Until next time, stay nerdy.